Hey there, Breakfast Clubbers, and welcome to another episode of Back Issue Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kelly Guentner of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. This week, we're going to talk about Green Arrow's 80th anniversary supersized issue. So, how many of you out there are Green Arrow fans? Sound off in the comments if you are. Now, just to tell a little story about this, I went into my comic shop. I didn't pre-order this, even though I should have, because I had in mind which the variant covers I wanted, and I didn't pre-order because I was busy. And I went into my comic shop, and my comic shop guy was like, "Oh no." He's like, "I hope you're not picky about covers," because I didn't plan ahead. I didn't know how many people would want Green Arrow because he's Green Arrow. But you know what? I love Green Arrow. He's one of my favorites. Obviously, Black Canary is my favorite. Green Arrow is not my favorite because of Black Canary, but here's why I love Green Arrow. So I love that he's liberal and unabashedly so, but I love that when well written, it's shown that he's an idealist, and it's also shown the flaws in that. And it's shown that he's this rich guy who's kind of an oxymoron, because he's this rich guy who's fighting for the poor, and it's like, yeah, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but then you kind of got to see how the other half lives. But I also love that, so he's this really flawed character. He's a playboy who tries to get in the straight and narrow. He tries to do right by the people that he brings under his wing, but he doesn't always do so. And so he's shown as this flawed character, but I also love that he really amasses the Arrow family, and I love the Arrow family to death. So when I picked this up, I was hoping that we would kind of see those parts of the character and not just, the lone hero with the bow, which is kind of what some people think of when they think of Green Arrow. So, while yes, there are some stories that are the lone hero with a bow, for those people who want that, there's a lot of good stories that kind of tap into the ideals of the character. A lot of stories that center around the Arrow family that I just made my heart happy. You see some characters that you haven't seen since before New 52, so Connor Hawke, who is Green Arrow's biological son, who he conceived right before he got stranded on the island. And Connor Hawke also carries the mantle of Green Arrow, and he carried the mantle of Green Arrow while Oliver was dead for quite a few years. He got better, though, as heroes do. So Connor Hawke shows up and actually gets his own solo story in this. Mia Dearden, who is the second Speedy, who I love, has a little tiny sort of cameo. You'll see what I mean. I'm not going to give spoilers. I would have loved for her to have a bigger role, but I'm glad that they remember that she existed. So, I'll take what I can get at this point. Roy's daughter, Leon, who is his daughter with Cheshire. There is a really, really sweet story. Leon is retelling the story of Roy's addiction, and it's really a touching, well-done story, and it shows Roy as a good parent who has talked to his daughter about this, and it's really heartwarming. Of course, my girl Dinah has a few stories where she shows up, and there's a great dynamic. And Mr. Ted Grant, Clyde, I know you're out there watching, so hi. My friend Clyde is a big Wildcat fan, and I love Wildcat. So we have a story where Dinah has her mentor Wildcat train Oliver because she's worried about him. Because that's what you do when you love someone. You have your old mentor beat the crap out of him until he learns. No, don't do that. Don't take that advice. That's terrible advice unless you're a superhero. But really, I feel like if you're a Green Arrow fan, there is something in here for everyone. The art is beautiful. It is a who's who of writers and artists who have contributed to this character over his history. There's a really touching tribute at the end to Dennis O'Neil, who passed away last year, sadly, and he contributed so much to the character. He was instrumental in the Hard Traveling Heroes days, where Oliver became the bleeding heart liberal that we all know and some of us love. And he and Hal Jordan, who skews more conservative, traveled the country debating the political issues of the day, and it had a real balanced debate going in the comics, and they were still friends, but they were able to debate these issues and just give a voice to the issues in the frame of comics. And of course there was a lot of action and adventure and like a buddy cop thing going on there. It was great. It includes that really touching and also beautifully drawn tribute to Denny O'Neil in there. Just, if you're a Green Arrow fan and you haven't picked this up, I don't know what you're doing. If you've ever been interested in Green Arrow, like if you watched the show Arrow and you want to know more about the character, this is a good collection of stories that are just kind of fun to read. You may not understand all of them because some of them you do need to know prior comics canon, but some of them stand on their own and are just cute little stories or fun stories by themselves, no prior history necessary. So I definitely recommend this to any Green Arrow fans out there. It really good issue. It made my little Green Arrow loving heart happy. So definitely a must buy. So thank you for watching this week. I want to hear from you in the comments as always. I want to hear what your favorite Green Arrow story is. Or if you don't like Green Arrow, tell me who your favorite comic character is. And if I haven't reviewed any of their stories yet, maybe I will get on that. And just do all the things, like this video, share it with 100 or 200 of your closest friends, follow the page if you're not following the page yet. If you're not following the page yet, you're missing out on a ton of great stuff. And again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week.